DM dilemma time.
We're calling her old job Olivia because she DM'd us saying, I heard y'all asking about what it's like being back from college and I got a dilemma. I just graduated and the only place that wants to hire me is a retail store I worked at in high school and a few summers in college. I think it would feel so embarrassing to go back there again, but it might be the only option. Last summer I was doing an internship and it got my hopes up. Has anyone else had to go back to a job that they thought they'd moved on from? Is this what work life will be like forever?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% I have. I'll go back to 2020. Pandemic happening, no radio jobs to be found anywhere. And I was unemployed for a long time. And whenever I was in high school, I worked in a grocery store. I was a cashier, later promoted to front end manager. And that ended up being the job that I had to go back and do like over 10 years later after I had graduated from high school, moved on, gotten my dream job, had what I thought was my dream career. And then it felt like my dream career was going to be over forever. And I had no idea what I was going to do next. So I was like, let's just go do what I know. And turns out I didn't even really know that well anymore. I was like, I'm not a good retail employee. Not good at it. But I showed up every day, never missed work. That was pretty much the only feather in my cap. But let me tell you, Olivia, when you do get the job in your field, it is going to feel so amazing. I think that the best 2-week stretch of my life was my 2 weeks notice at that job before I came to this job. Ooh. So just have that to look forward to. Use that as your motivation for going to work every day, how good it's going to feel whenever you get to tell everybody like, hey, I'm moving on to bigger and better things.
I was with you up until the very end. I think you got to put less eggs in the work basket. I think that was a mistake that I made whenever I was young, especially like us both being people who pursued careers of like, this is something I enjoy. Mm-hmm. It's that whole philosophy of like, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's not true. You still have to pay bills. There's still so much stress. There's like added stress that comes with it because you're trying to do something that you love, you're trying to follow your passion, and you always end up turning it into more than it needs to be. Like at the end of the day, it's just work. And that is the beauty of going back to this job that you thought that you had moved on from, is you can just treat it like work. You could go in, you could clock out, you can live your life. And I think that that's a skill that you will get to carry with you for the rest of your life and eventually use your degree and eventually have jobs that feel more aligned. But at the end of the day, know that it's just work. And I'm going to steal from Adam on this one. Low expectations are the key to happiness, especially when it comes to work. Go live your life outside of work.
I thought you were going to say, especially whenever it comes to life. Olivia is going through something on the DM dilemma this morning. I've never experienced graduating college and not being able to find a job in my field, but I do have a field. It's radio, and I have been in a spot where I had to take a job outside of the field of radio, so I can kind of relate to that, but she's just feeling bad about having to go back to her high school retail job.
Yeah, she just graduated college. She had an internship last summer, so she was feeling like this is going to be great. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do out of college. And now the only place that will hire her is that retail job she had in high school, and she's feeling discouraged.
Izzy has a good point, though. Having a job at all is less embarrassing than not having a job due to pride. You can always keep applying to other jobs while you are working.
And I love Sabrina's advice. She says, Olivia, life has its ups and downs. As long as you have a plan, don't sweat it too much, honey. But I'm wondering what she thinks the plan should be. Just apply to jobs while you work that retail job. Is there more to the plan?
I think she's saying that you have a degree, so that is your plan.
That's
you have
the plan.
one in hand. Carolann just said, no shame. A job is a job. My husband graduated and had to go back to his high school job for 2 years before he finally found a job that was in his field. I think it speaks higher of your character and is not embarrassing at all to do what you got to do to get by. Jesse, what is your advice for Olivia?
Well, like I said, I sent a text saying, don't just look by your title. Major Fortune 500 companies like that I work for, they have every job you can think of. It may be called an analyst, it may be called something different, but you can get a job. You can't be just searching Indeed every day. Go out there and look by companies.
All right. So would you, I don't know, do we know what her degree is in? That's tough to
It
say.
doesn't matter. She could be a librarian, and there's still going to be people like in my work doing education.
Thank you for the call, Jesse. Appreciate you. Let's go to the other Olivia, who has some advice for keeping a positive mindset. What would you tell this Olivia on the Dion Dilemma?
One, kind of like what everyone else said, just be thankful to have a job. But two, one thing that's kind of exciting is with it being retail, it's not going to be your traditional 9 to 5. That'll leave time open to go volunteer, to maybe try to get another internship, and be able to spend some time to really figure out, like, where do I want to work? Is this the right company for me?
Yeah.
And then also, she's still young. That means if she wants to go out and maybe party a little bit, that kind of gives her the room.
Yeah.
To really enjoy her 20s. I mean,
Olivia, you sound like I had no idea how fun you were, and you've been calling for years now. That's awesome. I love that your advice is party it up, enjoy your retail job.
I mean, it may suck in the moment, but those are usually the best moments when you look back and you're able to really laugh because of how much it sucked.
And there's nobody better to go party with after a retail shift than your fellow retail workers, because they also need the relief of a good party sesh.
Olivia says, embrace the suck. I love it, Olivia. You have a great day, all right?
You too.
Bye-bye.